The people of Willimantic are making sure their voices are heard. I'm Stephen Fernandez. I have that story coming up.
I'm Megan Fox. Stay tuned to News 22 for a magical glimpse into the witching hour.
I'm here at the J. Eugene Smith Library. Stay tuned for News 22's Book of the Week.
Good evening, folks, and welcome to News 22. I'm Craig Horsley.
And I'm Devin Green.
On Tuesday, November 6th, an 8th grader from Indianapolis was arrested for selling drugs outside of the principal's office. The students were only 14 and 13 years old. They found 5 grams of marijuana under the 13-year-old's desk. To get involved and help kids stay out of trouble around the Willimantic area, contact the Community Service Department here at Eastern.
In Pembroke, New Hampshire, 2 students were suspended for threatening another student on MySpace.com. A fight broke out at their school because of these threats. We here at News 22 urge all students to be as safe as possible when using websites like MySpace.com or Facebook.com.
This past week, local elections took place in Connecticut, and News 22 reporter Stephen Fernandez has a story.
Shine, Connecticut residents battled the weather to make sure they took part in the democratic process. November 6th, Connecticut residents took part in their local town elections, giving the people the power to change how their town is run. Eastern professor Jaime Gomez shares his thoughts on the issues that affected his vote.
Mostly I was concerned with 2 issues, education and the environment. So I've just voted and exercised my vote thinking that, we need to have a change.
Voters like Dr. Gomez seeking a change in the government noticed a change in the voting ballot. Ballots this year were counted using an electronically scanned machine, making it easier for voters. No matter what the issue or the party, people are making sure their voices are heard. In Willimantic, Stephen Fernandez, News 22.
In an upset, Green Party member Jean DeSmit won first selectman, beating out Democratic hopeful Mike Paulus. DeSmit won by 123 votes. Stay tuned next week as reporter Avion McGregor sits down with the winner of this month's election.
Tomorrow is the Wyndham Center School Fall Celebration down at the Wyndham Center School. The program features short, hands-on activities along with snack time, games, and more. This event is presented by Eastern residents and the after-school students at Wyndham Center School. It will take place from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. For more information, feel free to contact Ataya Jackson via email at jacksona@easternct.edu.
Visitors to the Student Center Cafe received a musical treat last night as the Campus Lantern premiered its first coffee house. The 3 guitarists from Eastern and UConn played at the coffee house, which brought in a comfortably sized audience. News 22's own Nick DeLizio started off the night. He was followed by UConn junior Adam Gooch and Eastern sophomore Jeremy Paro, with special guest Candace Jones. According to the Lanterns, Allie Kelly, the group hopes to continue the coffee house on a monthly basis. Stay tuned to the Campus Lantern and News 22 for more information on future dates.
We will be right back with this week's editorial.
Hey, Bill Nye the Science Guy here. Whenever I'm in Willimantic, I do exactly what you're doing. That's right. I watch TV 22. Turn it up loud.
On Thursday, November 15th at 11 a.m. in the Paul E. Johnson Senior Community Room, Charles H. Stedman, Vice President, Fenway Enterprises and Broadcast Services for the Boston Red Sox, presents a David T. Chase Free Enterprise Institute Distinguished Lecture, The Economics of Red Sox Nation. For information and directions, call 860-465-5140 or 860-465-5735. We hope that your schedule will allow your attendance at this impressive presentation.
Dude, huh? See some of that for the rest of the campus.
Remember, when doing simple tasks like brushing your teeth, turn off the water.
We're back, and we have with us Jake Williams. Please remember that the views that he will say are from him and not of News 22.
The United States is the richest country in the entire world, and yet we have a population of 47 million people who are uninsured. This problem is not new. For years, politicians and families have grappled with issues of health care. Recently, the problem has garnered increased attention by the media with the release of the film Sicko in the 2008 presidential race. On the Democratic side of things, we have the frontrunner Hillary Clinton, who tried and failed during the 90s to introduce a universal health care system. Far from attempting anything so drastic this time around, she currently accepts millions of dollars from health care special interest groups. Groups whose interests are contrary to the interests of Mrs. Clinton's own constituency in New York and all Americans. The new Clinton plan calls for the granting of tax credits to qualifying families that would offset some of the cost of private health insurance. On the other side of the fray, we have Rudy Giuliani, former mayor of of New York, and he has a plan for our health. Giuliani's plan is modeled on our fearless leader's calls for an ownership society, one in which we all function independently of one another. This system would alleviate our employers from any obligation to the health of their employees. Instead, Mr. Giuliani's system calls for a shift to the individual market to increase choice available to consumers, probably through a healthcare savings account similar to the accounts proposed as part of the Social Security privatization bids of the last election cycle. Anything to keep Wall Street happy, huh, boys? The similarity between these two frontrunners on opposite sides of the fence is all too clear. Both seek to keep the insurance industry in the business of denying health claims to maximize profits. As a fan of a free market economy and all the benefits I can reap from it, that sounds pretty good to me. I will have plenty of choices available to me so I can get the best coverage that money can buy. Great! But what happens if those same free market forces that have provided me with all these choices swing in another direction? I lose my job, I get sick, I don't qualify for Madam President's tax credits. I don't have enough money to cover my individual health care premiums. Facing this situation, as many other Americans currently face, my choices would be limited to going into debt to cover any medical bills I rack up, or going without treatment. If only there were another option, a third or fourth choice available to me in this free market of politics. Maybe a candidate with a universal health care plan that would offer coverage for all Americans. No, please, put down your torches. I'm not a communist. I only want to see a doctor for this cough. Currently, John Edwards and Barack Obama are proposing universal health care systems that would bring about sweeping change to the insurance industries. Both plans would force employers to share the burden of insuring the populace, but Mr. Edwards' plan goes furthest in proposing a plan that would cover everyone through a system based on costs shared between government and employers. Mr. Obama has proposed federally mandating that every person be insured in the same way that states mandate that those driving a car must be insured. Mr. Obama's plan would provide subsidies and tax credits similar to those proposed by Mrs. Clinton's. These would cover the costs of care. Though, like the Clinton plan, the Obama plan falls short of guaranteeing coverage to every American. Mr. Edwards is the only candidate to command real national attention with plans of a truly universal health care system. While we will most likely see Clinton in the White House this next time around, we hope that she will learn from her husband, incorporating the best ideas proposed by other candidates and work hard to implement them. That was always Bill's strength, and I hope Hillary has learned it. This country is ready for a woman in the White House, and we are ready for a universal health care system. Thank you.
Eastern Zone Males Club is holding their annual banquet to celebrate their 10th year as an organization. The club started in 1997. It has been an eventful 10 years for the Males organization. Entertainment begins at 5:30 p.m. and the ceremony begins at 6 p.m. The banquet is a formal event and is free. If you are welcome and you are interested in attending, please RSVP to reserve a spot.
Winter is just around the corner, and what better time to receive a flu shot? On Tuesday, November 13th, flu shots will be provided for students, faculty, and staff for $15 in Hurley Hall from 11:30 to 1:30. Cash or checks are accepted. If you want to avoid catching the flu this season, stop by Hurley Hall to receive your shot.
On Wednesday, November 7th, Eastern students got together from 1 to 9 to perform the Witching Hour. Megan Fox was at the scene.
The cultural and historical event, The Witching Hour, is a theatrical dance and provocative piece that has come to Eastern to educate students about Connecticut's 17th century witch trials. 19 people were brutally hanged after being convicted of witchcraft in the 1692 Salem witch trials. After the Massachusetts executions, the hysteria spread to Connecticut, coming as close to Eastern as Wethersfield. resulting in 3 executions.
Well, you know, you always hear about the Salem witch trials, which are the most famous, I think, in the country. And I really was not aware that we had so many trials here in Connecticut. So it wasn't until I heard about this like a couple of months ago that I actually knew we had such things in Connecticut.
I have been in consort with the devil, and I have to admit what an evil person I've been.
The message was very clear and very profound.
I think, unfortunately, the whole witch hunt is so prevalent in our society, I think throughout history. And so, yes, I do think it's happening. And well, what about how many people are being tortured right now? I think that's all part of this metaphorical witch hunt that we have in our society. When The Crucible was written, you saw that happening. It wasn't really about the witchcraft as much as it was about the communism scare. And unfortunately, we see it now with the whole war in Afghanistan and Iraq.
It's hard to believe, but acts of hatred aren't limited to the 17th century. It's important to have events like this one so that history doesn't repeat itself. From News 22, I'm Megan Fox.
If you are interested in events like the Witching Hour, log on to Eastern's website and check out our calendar of events.
Attention Eastern Red Sox fan. Dr. Charles Steedman, Executive Vice President of the Boston Red Sox, will be here at Eastern Connecticut State University next Thursday, November 15th from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. in the Johnson Room in the library. The topic for discussion will be the Red Sox Nation and the economics of professional sports. Admission is free for students and open to the public. If you are a true Red Sox fan, this is surely an event that you cannot miss.
Want to learn how to dine like a professional? Then come to the etiquette dinner next Wednesday, November 14th. Enjoy a full-course meal while learning proper dining techniques, such as silverware placement and what to do with your napkin. To register and for more information, stop by the Career Services office on the 2nd floor of Wood Support Services.
This fall semester, the drama department is putting on a play called On the Razzle. I was lucky enough to be on the scene and had a chance to sit down with a couple of the cast members. You do not realize just how good of a performing arts program we have here. The department will be putting on a play tonight through Sunday called On the Razzle by Tom Stoppard. I was lucky enough to catch up with some of the cast to discuss what goes on behind the scenes here at the Harry Hope Theater.
The cast is so much fun. Like, a lot of us are juniors and seniors, so we've been in a lot of shows together over the past few years, and we've all gotten really close because we're here every single night from 7 to 11, and then for the last 2 weeks of the performance, we're here from like 5:30 to 11 every night. So you get pretty close to the cast members.
After speaking with Caitlin, I was able to grab senior actor Kelly Schreier, and she gave me a few words on what happens moments before the play.
Like, take a moment usually before you go on stage, just kind of like remember where the character's head is at and just kind of bring yourself to that point before you walk on so you can intellectualize everything as the character as you're going through it. Usually I'm not nervous until right before I go on stage, and usually it just kind of helps to just take a deep breath before you go on.
Well, folks, be sure to catch On the Razzle being played here at the Harry Hope Theater. I'm Craig Horsley for News 22. If you have not had a chance to see On the Razzle, there are performances going on until Sunday. Friday and Saturday, it will take place at 8 p.m. and on Sunday at 4 p.m. Stop by Schaefer Auditorium and support our drama department.
Do you have questions about your future career path? Look no further than the Student Center for answers and attend Ask the Career Counselor. At its event on Friday, November 9th, career counselors will be available for students to ask questions they might have on how to accomplish future career goals. They will be at the Student Center vendor table starting from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Eastern's campus does not have many activities in the area for students to partake in. News 22 reporter Elizabeth Hilton had a chance to ask a few students around campus how they spend their weekends.
During the weekends, I caught up with some students around campus to find out what they are up to on their days off.
Usually on the weekend I go home just because there's nothing to do around here really. There's nowhere to go, or I spend it with my boyfriend.
It really depends. Sometimes I go home on the weekends and sometimes I stay up here. I know that maybe this semester or last semester Eastern actually started the Friday After Dark series where they have different events part of their weekend planning. I like to attend some of those sometimes depending upon what they are. Also they have movie nights, so really depending upon what's going on the weekend up here, I might stay or I might go home. It really depends.
I'm a commuter, so I go back and forth, so I just go home all weekend and work at Big Y.
Well, usually on weekends I like to go home and visit my friends, but usually I stay up here on campus.
I usually work at Wyndham Hospital on the weekends.
I usually get out of class on Friday and just sit at my house all weekend because here at Eastern, I'm more of a student and I don't really worry about the social life. So I just unwind from a long week of school and, kind of reset the battery.
Eastern's Campus Activity Board is encouraging students to stay on campus during the weekends by providing different events and activities for them to participate in. So stick around and find out what Eastern has to offer. For News 22, I'm Elizabeth Hilton.
There are also places such as the Wyndham Movieplex and Willie Bowl for students to enjoy.
This Saturday, the West Indian Society's talent show will be held in the Betty Tipton Room located in the Student Center. Admission is free.
Dr. Christopher Taracchio, a creative writing professor here at Eastern Connecticut State University, will be having a reading from his new novel, Floating Holidays, on November 13th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. in the Student Center Theater. Taracchio is the writer of many novels and has appeared in various publications, such as the Antioch Review, Denver Quarterly, and the Gettysburg Review. A reception and book signing will be held as well as refreshments. This event is free and open to the public.
The J. Eugene Smith Library has a lot to offer. James Wolfe reports.
Students visit the J. Eugene Smith Library and think internet access, library cafe, magazines. But tonight, we're going to get down to the substance, the real reason why the J. Eugene Smith Library is even here. Tonight, we're talking books.
My book choice of the week is Robinson Crusoe. I've read it twice. Once when I was just a kid and I did a book report in high school for it. We'll find reading Robinson Crusoe to be kind of like a vacation. They get to kind of take a break from their everyday normal life, from school and stress.
Well, Justin, you convinced me. And I hope we've convinced all of you to come down to the J. Eugene Smith Library and check out Robinson Crusoe, our book of the week. For News 22, I'm James Wolfe. Have a pleasant evening.
Be sure to check out the latest books the library has on display.
On Tuesday, November 13th, Health Services will be offering free HIV testing from 12 to 3. Students, faculty, and staff will have the chance to get tested.
On November 27th, the Arts and Lecture Series will bring Eroica Trio to Eastern's campus. They are a string instrument group that is one of the most requested trios in the world. They'll be performing in Schaefer Auditorium at 7 p.m. Admission is $10 for the general public.
And folks, we will be right back with our sports update.
Last summer, 8 ECSU students traveled to Mexico not knowing what they would find.
Well, that's one of the biggest questions in conservation in general is how can the local people benefit from intact habitats? People in this area speak a great deal about how the forest influences rainforest. To them, there's a very strong relationship between cutting of the forest and the drop in precipitation.
Find out more about this environmental issue when Deforestation in Mexico premieres on December 5th at 7 p.m. in the Student Center Auditorium.
News 22's Athlete of the Week is brought to you by Blarney's.
Blarney's, located at 49 High Street in Willimantic, offering an exciting and entertaining party atmosphere. Nightly drink specials, Tuesday night wing specials, and now offering Fred's Brickhouse Pizza.
And we have with us Mike. Mike?
Thanks, guys. Now for this week's Blarney's Athlete of the Week, here's Dan Pagantero with the news.
Here's your Blarney's Athlete of the Week.
For this week's Blarney's Athlete of the Week, we selected Karina Johnson from the women's cross-country team. Karina, who is a freshman, has not acted like one with the season she has had with the cross-country team. She attained the highest finish ever by an Eastern female at the Little East Conference New England Alliance Championship this past Saturday. We got a chance to catch up with her to see how she felt about her achievement and on being chosen as Blarney's Athlete of the Week.
It felt good to attain the highest finish ever by an Eastern female at our meet last Saturday. Because I didn't know how well I was going to do, but then I just ended up doing really well. It's really good to be Blarney's Athlete of the Week because actually before I was told that I didn't know about it, so it was just a nice surprise.
We also asked Karina what first influenced her to run, how she trains, and what her goals are for the rest of her career here at Eastern.
Well, I first started running just because my brother did, and I used to always just want to do what my brother did, and then it just went from there. There would be like little cross-country races at like through the town, and like Hershey track, I would do that. But I didn't, and then in middle school I did cross-country and track, but it wasn't as serious as when I got to high school, so I was more focused on it. To prepare, I usually just do whatever my coach says. It's not like, I don't really think about it too much, I just kind of run. We have New England's next Saturday, and I want to do really well there. And then hopefully during track season I'll do really well. And then by my senior year I want to win conference meet.
Be sure to stay tuned for next week's edition of Blarney's Athlete of the Week. I'm Dan Pagnataro for News 22.
Thanks, Dan. Be sure to stay tuned for next week's Blarney's Athlete of the Week. The women's soccer team finished up their season this past Saturday with a loss in the Little East Conference Championship match against Western Connecticut. Casey Baressa of WestCon scored both goals for the opposing team to give the Colonials a 2-0 lead against the Warriors. Sarah Swan scored her 8th goal of the year with just 11 minutes left in the regulation, but it was not enough to beat the Colonials, who became the Little East Conference champions and ended the Lady Warriors season. Although their season draws to a close, Eastern posted double figures in wins for the 7th season in a row. It will be sad to see this year's seniors go, but it will be fun to look forward to next year's promising season of soccer for the women. The men's soccer team has done something that they've never done before. Nick Delizio has a story for you.
Past Sunday, the men's soccer team won the Little East Conference Championship by defeating Keene State in penalty kicks. The game was close with neither team scoring in regulation or in overtime. Jay Barney made key saves during the PKs while Kyle Bedini, Max Fantel, and Nick Beretti made each of the goals to lead the Warriors over Keene State. Jay Barney was also named the tournament MVP. We caught up with the players to get their reactions of this memorable victory.
After winning the first Little East Conference Championship for Eastern, it's really rewarding, especially after the 2.5 months of hard work we put in. It feels good for it to finally pay off. I mean, Jay was able to come up huge for us and make a couple saves, so I'm glad we could help him out too, but it just feels good, really. It's good. It's awesome.
It feels good. It's something I wanted to do before my 4 years were done here, and this year we had the best team to do it with. Every guy worked hard all day, every game, and we accomplished one of our goals this year. I thought I played pretty well. I really helped my team when very few breakdowns happened. Keene State's not a very easy team to defend, and I really thought for a majority of the game I really didn't have to do a lot. The defense kept it pretty tight in front of me.
It was amazing. I think it's like an experience of a lifetime. Like going all the way. It's the first time we beat Keene. It doesn't really count as a win, but that's the first time we actually came out of a game with Keene and was on top. It was great. It was amazing.
Feels amazing. Coming into the season, our team, that was our main goal. It's number one for the whole season, and we all knew we could do it. Every step of the season, we got a little closer, and then the last day, we knew we could do it, and we put the work on the table, and it came through. There's not a lot you can do. You just have to keep the momentum rolling. We're on a great streak right now. I think we have 5 shutouts in a row or something like that, and everyone's playing well. Everyone's on top of their game, so we just have to bring that into Saturday. We know they're a good team, but we're a good team too, so we're just going to see what happens.
With the win this past Sunday, it advanced the Warriors into the NCAA tournament for the first time ever in school history. The players are excited and anxious to be playing in the NCAA tournament. They are proud of each other, and the team chemistry has definitely played a major role during this memorable season. They continued to tell us how they were going to prepare for this weekend's match.
Just keep working with my team as we have always done. Just, remain, building that team chemistry. We have that team chemistry. That's what makes us different from like every other team, and we're just gonna keep working as a team and just play with our hearts and just get everything we got.
Preparing for the NCAAs, same practice as usual. Everyone's gonna keep working hard as we always do, and same old thing, nothing different. Gotta get our heads on straight for Saturday.
Preparing for Saturday, just mentally preparing ourselves. I mean, Williams is a good team. They played Trinity and Keene. Keene's beat them 1-0. We played Trinity to a 3-1 win. And I know Williams has lost to Trinity, but I mean, you can't take anything into account. They're a really solid program, national contender every year. So it's gonna be a battle. It's gonna be a battle. Hopefully, we'll be able to come out on top.
Come on, Nick. Here we go, baby.
Stay tuned next week to see how the Warriors fared in their first ever NCAA tournament. I'm Nick DeLizio, News 22.
Thanks, Nick. Be sure to tune into the live online broadcast of their first round game on Saturday at around 2 o'clock on Eastern's website. The women's volleyball team had an exciting weekend and came home Little East Conference champs. Tristan Hobbs brings us more on this story.
Had a miraculous comeback in the Little East Conference Tournament, winning their third straight title. The women's volleyball team finished the regular season with a record of 8-26, but in the Little East Conference Tournament, the Warriors knocked off 3 higher-ranked opponents on their way to their third straight Little East Conference championship. I sat down with Priscilla Doherty and Lauren Odell to get their thoughts.
It felt a lot better this season just because we had a lot of struggles and overcame a lot of difficulties this year. And it was really cool to be like the underdogs and come back and win it all.
It was actually pretty amazing because we were 5th place, so we had to come back, and no one predicted that we would beat Rick or Western or Keene. So it actually felt really good to come back and take first place.
We're going to work hard. We're working on serving really good aces and hitting to the one spot to knock out the setter. And
we've been coming into practice every day, working on things that we struggled through, which is serving and serve receive and getting out of serve receive on the first ball, and just working our hitters to hit to one.
Priscilla Doherty was also named Most Outstanding Player of the Little East Conference Tournament, and we caught up with her for a few words on that.
It actually felt pretty amazing because I personally had a rough season this year. I wasn't connecting with my hitters as well as I have been. So to actually be recognized and I did play well, I was so happy.
The Lady Warriors will now compete in their record-setting 16th NCAA tournament appearance this Thursday when they take on Williams at MIT. This is Tristan Hobbs, News 22.
Thanks, Tristan, and good luck in regionals, girls. In intramural news, last Thursday's the defending champions, the Ghost Riders, took on the Angry Dolphins in what May saw as being a great matchup. The Angry Dolphins scored 5 runs in the first inning, which only made the defending champs step it up. In the 5th inning, while down 9-5, the Ghost Riders showed why they have been undefeated in the past season, scoring 6 runs on 4 hits. Jason Swanee, who was later named player of the game, hit 2 doubles and a home run to contribute to the win. Although the Angry Dolphins made a good run in the final inning, the Ghost Riders pulled through with a victory 13-11, stealing their now 2nd consecutive intramural softball championship title. That's it for sports. Have a great night. I'm Michael Mastriani.
Well, Mike, thank you very much for that fascinating sports information. And folks, remember, you can check out all the stories we aired tonight on our YouTube website. Just go to youtube.com/ECSUTV22. I'm Craig Horsley.
And I'm Devin Green. See you next time, Eastern.